Thanks, guys. The canopy is something that I almost have had to have. I used to lifeguard in Hawaii, and I got to the point where I couldn't stand to get out in the sun, and I love the outdoors. So I started looking at options, and I modified some hats and did some all crazy things just to keep the face out of the sun. But I ended up with a canopy. I started with some little square canopy, didn't have many options at all. And I figured, well, as long as I was going to put something over my head, let's make it do other things besides just cover the head. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, well, it's awfully expensive. I have a client in Oregon who called me up and said, Ed, I go to a skin cancer doctor every 3 months and have skin removed from my face. I can't go outside unless I'm protected. So when you talk about expense, this gentleman could not go outside without one of these. The fabric itself is a nylon. It's a ripstop nylon. Doesn't mean it doesn't rip, but a rip will kind of stop. This is tent and also kite material. It's very lightweight, very affordable. Years ago, when I had a rack on the back of this trike, it's the only trike I've ever had, I'm sorry, my trike's outside. I designed a bracket that went on the back and this strapped to the luggage rack. So I modified it a little bit, went to a little bit larger piece and a little bit smaller piece, a little bit smaller than even yet. Now what I'm currently doing is there's some pieces in here, and off to the side you'll see two pieces that are not painted. This is wood, and it has Delrin plastic sleeves in it. This wood is, I put the sleeves in it. There's a piece in here that does not have the sleeves in it yet. The sleeves are threaded. There's reflectors that go in there, thumb screws for 2 flagpoles, which will have a light bar on it. But I wanted to show this to you because I soaked this for 24 hours in a product that's called wood petrifier, and it turns it into a block of plastic. I'm going to pass this whole box around and just, I don't know how far we can get with it. That's the V block that fits in the back. Back here, it's really crucial to the whole trike setup. I don't know if I can get this off in here or not, but I would like to. I think we can. The V block controls the strength of the rods back here. These are 1/4 inch fiberglass rods. And there's the V block that I was talking about. Now there's some other things back here I want you to take quick note of. Number one, there's a wrench down here. This wrench fits all the fasteners on the canopy. Okay? It's all metric except for the 1/4-20. Can anybody guess why I like 1/4-20? Camera guy, 1/4-20, everywhere. So you could do some camera mount stuff in the back, but also, I'm going to fast forward here, without putting this on there. One of the things I'm hoping to work with on this coming year are some options for this little nut in the back. So we're going to have something like that as options, okay? Let's pass it around.
Larry.
Yeah. Larry. Yeah. And they all look like Larry. That's you know, again, Larry 1, Larry 2. I think that's the hardest part of the canopy installation. This is a rack time rack. Okay? The rack time rack is made in Germany. It's probably one of my favorite racks. I also have a Trident rack that I've worked with. Lady in Tampa, Susan got a Trident rack. Green Speed, I've got a Green Speed. Where's my Green Speed lady? Yes, I've got a Green Speed rack. I didn't bring it, but I've got an adapter already for it. Ice suspension, several standard racks. I like the rack time rack because there's so many options you can get for it. This being one here, and we actually. What that's off of. Oh,
Larry.
Yeah, Larry, it's belonging to Larry over here for God's sakes. But you've got the one wing nut back here that holds the canopy on, and also, I didn't even bring it in. I want you to ride this trike. I'm going to take it out, and this is the high boy trike. It's really easy to get on and off. Ride this around. I'm going to put it in gear out there and just ride it. I want you to pay particular attention to not just the canopy itself and the shade it offers, but these mirrors. Because the one thing that is difficult when you're riding a trike or a low vehicle of any kind is the visibility behind you. And with the mirrors right there at eye level, you can actually see things without looking for them. You know, on the road, you're looking down and everything else. But when you're laid back, your head doesn't want to look down. So pay particular attention to the location of these mirrors. Now, I call these accessory bars. You can put lights on here, which is what I do. You can put lights up front and back. I've tried to mount an iPhone up here. The front down rods are adjustable. These pieces up here. When I talk to customers, I try to imagine what to start with. This rod here is about this long. I can make this real short or real long. It depends on the setup of the trike. It depends on how tall the tube is, whether you got a little low tire back here and a low rack, or a big 700 tire and a high rack. So there's a lot of geometry that has to be discussed, and I get to know my customers very well. As what we got in here, 5 canopy guys, 4 or 5. The front is another challenge, because even within the same manufacturer, this derailleur tube is different sizes, and it really doesn't matter to the manufacturer because all I do is clamp a derailleur to it. But I use, in some cases, a sleeve, which is not what I did here, but there's a sleeve. That's the most inexpensive. That's like a $2 item, I think. So that's the cheapo method, and that'll get you in a canopy and a securing system. If I have to go inside the tube, I go inside with a bung that I make, and it looks more like that. And as you push it in the tube, I've got about 6 or 7 different sizes of bungs. You push it in the tube, turn the eye screw, and it tightens up because it pinches that rubber. The most current piece that I just started with a couple of months ago is this right here. I still use the bung system in here, okay? And do any of you know what the term clocking means? Clocking screws or clocking anything? When you clock something, you position it to a particular orientation. So if I wanted to clock this at 6 and 12 with the lever down at the bottom, then I might have to turn that in and tighten it up and take it back out and redo it until you've got this positioned properly. But this particular system has a little pin in it that once that pin is triggered, it automatically locks. So when the canopy on the one out in the parking lot, when it's lowered and the top goes in first, okay? And as you put the bottom one in, it's secure. You can do that after some practice by grabbing these front down rods and just pushing it in. That's Aaron. I don't have, I've got price lists that'll be available, I guess when we hit the parking lot, because it's still in the car, and it describes all these different options. One of the options is the Velcro package, which is not on here. If it was, we could simply attach the visor package. There's a rod that comes out of this piece back here. I brought one in. Yes, it did. This little rod has a knob on it, okay? When you're operating the visor out there on that trike, which would be one of these, operate it with this knob, okay? That little knob. there'll be a rod through the visor that actually moves it. So, everybody got that? Move it with the little button, the little ball knob. That's that one. I'm just going to hit and miss some of this. There's also a Velcro patch that goes underneath, and when I go on a route or something, okay, I've got all my stuff right here. So that's real handy. I went on a ride last week. We had numbers, so I have numbers back here. If you're into photography, you'll appreciate the fact that, especially if you're doing video and you've got a sound system, that little tag that you got back there is flapping. And I thought, first time I heard it flap, I thought the trike was coming apart because it just really makes a lot of racket. But if you put it in a little sleeve, it stays real quiet. So that's that around. I mentioned the little wrench. It's a friction fit that fits up in a port. And the gear rack package, if you don't want the gear rack up there, I can put about 4 pounds. Now, well, let me get to that in a minute. You could actually order a canopy starting at about $200. That give you the top, some kind of connection up front. I had planned on actually having another gear rack made to bring. Gear rack. The thing about the gear rack that makes it real handy is that's a 10mm tube, and they fit how many of you kayak? Have you seen these little things? You've seen these little, you get it, this is kayak popular. And they make a standard bunch of systems. And the nice thing about this size, it'll snap. It'll snap on there. And if you only have one end of a bungee cord fastened, it doesn't fall off. So that's what I made 2 of the bars sized. That. I tried to play with a windshield, and I rode on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for 100 miles. I don't know if you've ever tried, have you ever tried to drive a billboard down a road? I swear to God, I was so upset with myself for even trying it. But you certainly build up a good set of leg muscles with one of these on a trike, I can tell you right now. I'll pass this around. These are called barrel nuts in here, okay? These are out of England. I couldn't find any manufacturer in this country. A lot of this stuff comes from overseas because we simply don't have, I don't know, we don't have it. One of the complaints I've had of recent is the fact that this comes down at an unreasonable amount of front forward speed. Not ground speed, it's air speed. You can look at your speedometer, 20 miles an hour. Well, what's the air? I have, on that trike out there, I can get up to 40. But I wasn't satisfied with that, so about a week ago, I put some stiffeners up here. And those of you who study geometry will readily see that I can go now, I can go a lot faster than I want to go, okay? So I'm continually trying to improve this canopy. Try to make it go faster. But I know, pass it around. It's the airspeed. So now I can tell what's going on with the air. Almost did. Somebody asked me, this lady here asked me about colors. I have some sample pieces in here, okay, of different colors of canopies that
I have a question for you. I have real sensitive eyes to light, and we're thinking about trikes and like just overhead or the sun at angles for me are killers for my vision. And so how well does this do?
Keep going. Is that enough? Is that enough for you? I've had that question. How durable is the UV protection from the shade?
Yeah, and at what angles? I mean, do you find that it's an issue sometimes? You know, because you're more laid back on trikes and sun coming in. Is that even a benefit?
Well, first of all, midday riding, this is good to go.
Okay.
This afternoon, I would appreciate it if you take the trike and face it north or south to see what a western afternoon sun does to your side. Where's the visor? Is it back in here somewhere? Pass that forward. Right behind you, Pam. Yep, just pass it forward. Did everybody see this? Well, it'll be on the trike. I think I got some magic out of that. In the afternoon, one of the things I like to do when I'm tuning a top to a person is I want to have this visor, the back of it, right about here. Okay? And this is, and because of the height of this to the rider, this is about what you'll have in the afternoon. And I'm talking about a late afternoon sun. What I tried also to do was, rather than just attach this to the outside edge, I wanted to pick up as much rain protection as I could, so I tucked this underneath here, so that the hinge point is underneath. Okay? As far as the front is concerned, when you tune a top to a rider, it's like imagining having a build cap on. Okay? That's what I want you to see when you're sitting on your trike. I want this view. Can we lower it? Yeah, we can pull that cap down by lowering these rods. The side, I think it's as good as we can get for what it is. This is not a one-size-fits-all canopy. Ragtop makes a nice product. There are other products out there, Veltop. I think they all have a purpose. I wanted something a little more stylish and very simple. But to do that, and Tom can tell you, the simpler it is, the harder it is to get there. And it takes a lot of work to make it simple. There are 105 parts on the complete canopy. That's loose parts. I'm going to be outside. I've got a couple trikes to ride. This is being probably the main one. It's easy to get on and off. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.